You guys have no idea what a father feels or what a father goes through when he learns that his child is having sex. And I think that's just ridiculous. What the hell, guys? Seriously, how can you go and say something so ridiculous without actually educating yourself first? Sex and penises don't make your vagina deformed. Hi everybody, my name is Palesa and this is the Truth Serum. Today I just want to continue talking about the sex talk conversation that I had last week. Well, it's like maybe a different aspect of it. So a while ago I saw two things that made me want to have this conversation. First, I saw a video of a man beating his child or hitting his child because he found out that she was having sex. And she was 12 years old and he was like, hitting her. And then secondly, I saw a video of somebody getting a vaginal tightening process or doing a vaginal tightening process. And I know these videos have been out there for a while and maybe it's late, but the point is not necessarily the videos, but the story behind them. And also mostly the comments that I read from those videos. It was a little bit disturbing to me. So yeah, before I continue, I just have two questions for you for today. One, do you think that children need to be disciplined for having sex? And then number two, why do you guys like talking about people's vaginas? Like, especially when you're not a professional in that field. Why do you feel like you have an opinion on what people do with their vaginas? That's what I want to talk about. Okay, so let's dive into the parent beating his child for having sex, right? So this young girl, she's 12 years old. The dad found out that she's having sex, and there's just a video of him hitting her. You know what I mean? Not like beating, punches and kicks and whatever, but like with a belt, hitting her like how we grew up being hit and stuff like that. So yeah, I was a little bit uncomfortable with that because she is 12 years old, number one, and obviously we don't know the backstory if he ever taught her about stuff like that. If he ever taught her that, taught her anything about sex for that matter, you know what I mean? Because sometimes learning about it at school just isn't enough. But we don't know the backstory, but it made me wonder. So I'm thinking, what's the right way to go about this? In my opinion, I don't think that a child should be hit for something that they were never taught about or something that they were never shown, what's wrong and what's right, to do with that. And I think that I feel that way because I grew up being hit for literally almost anything and everything. And I never thought that my parents hate me. I never thought that my mom hated me for hitting me like that. But I just thought like when in some situations when I felt like, I actually didn't know. So it was like, it's unnecessary for you to hit me. Rather just tell me so that I know for next time. You know what I mean? So same thing with this situation. I mean, she's 12 years old. I think that for a child to go and have sex at that age, there has to be a lot of things happening in her life. Or their life, whether they're a boy or girl or whatever. There has to be a lot because we can't even in this progressive age that we're in, we can't act like it's okay for somebody that young to be having sex. I don't think it's okay. I don't think it's okay. That's just me. But the way that he went about it for me was definitely not right. I think that there is a reason why most parents would rather would rather hit the child for for having sex because they don't want to go through the awkwardness of having that conversation. Probably because they never had those conversations with their parents and they don't know how to do it with their kids. So in order for the child to know that it's wrong, they would rather just hit them and hope that that solution is going to work. I don't think that works. I don't think that makes sense at all. In fact, I think it makes everything worse, especially right now, like in the newer, this new generation, you know, like you can't just hit somebody and expect them to know that something is wrong. You know what I mean? And hitting a child doesn't always make them feel that you love them and that you care about their well-being. I don't think that's that at all. I don't necessarily think that a child should not be hit at all. I think that it matters how they're hit, number one, and why they're being hit, you know. I don't think I ever want to lay hand. I don't want to hit my child with, you know, my hands and stuff like that. I don't think I ever want to hit my child at all, but I think that if needs be, there must be some kind of a, you know, thing. But anyway, another thing that really frustrated me with this video was some of the comments that people were making. And by people, mostly, I mean the men in those comments, or people who identify as men or male. Most of the comments were just horrible to me. And one that stuck out for me was somebody saying that, a guy, male, saying that you guys have no idea what a father feels or what a father goes through when he learns that his child is having sex. And I think that's just ridiculous, because does the father think of what the child is going through, or what the child is feeling, especially being hit because of his own feelings, that for something that the child is doing to their body at that time? You know what I'm saying? I think it's kind of selfish. I think it's stupid. I think it's a ridiculous defense to say that the father is feeling this. So if that is indeed, obviously we don't have the background, the backstory of why that father, the way that the father hit the child, but it's like, if you're hitting your child because of how it made you feel, because of what they're doing made you feel a certain way, then I don't think that's something that you're doing out of love. You're doing something out of your frustration, out of your anger, and there's no way that it can teach a child something. There's no way they can teach a child that's wrong. I'm so thirsty. Oh my word, my mouth is dry. Yes. Yeah, I think that's what frustrated me the most, is the defense that came from people. From men specifically, there was no one trying to figure out what that child is feeling. You know what I mean? Why did she feel like she must go and have sex? You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, this is how I feel about having sex at that age. It's not right. It shouldn't be happening, because yeah. But yeah, that's that on that. I don't want to go further into that, because yeah. But I just want to know from you what you feel, you know, if you feel like a child must be disciplined instead of just being talked to and explained and get an explanation for, you know, sex and stuff like that, because it's a part of life. The next thing that I wanted to talk about is the whole vaginal tightening thing. I was really irritated when I saw the people's comments on, actually it was ZODWA WABANTU, who was getting her vagina tightened, and she has people have a certain outlook on her. You know, people think she's a hoe or whatever. But, you know, even if things on camera, even if, you know, pictures, you know, make you think certain things, you don't know what's going on in somebody's life. You know what I mean? But I want to talk about the specific thing that she did, the vaginal tightening procedure. And everybody, and again, it was the guys, the men, the boys, who who just jumped and said that she was tightening her vagina because she had different sized penises in her vagina, and she's like been having sex with like many different men, and now she needs to tighten her vagina because it's loose or whatever. And then they even mentioned other celebrities. Very who's this? They were like, yeah, the one that dated the hip hop star and the Nigerian Mang and the whatever, trying to do code names, but that one also must go for that procedure because she was jollering with a Nigerian, etc., etc. Like, what the hell, guys? Seriously, how can you go and say something so ridiculous without actually educating yourself first? Sex and penises don't make your vagina deformed or make it stretched and whatever. The muscles in that area, they actually, retract and become after being stretched out, it goes back, maybe it doesn't go back to like that same tightness, but it goes back. You know what I'm saying? But sex doesn't do that. And I remember seeing a post somewhere. I read this somewhere. I can't remember where. When someone said, "Why do men think that a vagina is stretched out by having sex with 30 different men, but they don't think that the vagina can get stretched out by having sex with one man 30 times?" And I was just like, actually, you know what I mean? I'm just irritated by the comments of, how somebody's vagina being stretched out automatically just means that they are a hoe and they are having sex everywhere and with many different people. At the same time, when I think about that, if a woman is having sex with as many people as she wants, it shouldn't be something that should be, scrutinized so much. People are freaking out because it's a woman, versus if it was a man, it's like, oh, you've had sex with this number of women, dope. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, anyway, I don't think I want to say too much about that because there's not much to be said. All there is that stop talking about people's vaginas. Just leave it. If you are not a professional in that field, if you don't know what you're talking about, leave it. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, there's other things that can stretch out your vagina, like having a baby come out of you, an entire human being coming out of your vagina. Like, some of you people with your big heads, you can imagine what that's like if you had a vagina. You know what I mean? If you had a vagina, and just think about your big head coming out of your mom's vagina, and obviously it's gonna get stretched out. You know what I'm saying? So whatever reason there is for someone's reason for getting a vaginal tightening procedure, just don't be assholes about it. Like, even if they want to put it out there in public, people just think that you have I think that you're entitled actually to think that you can say stuff like that about other women who decide that they want to do this, other people who decide that they want to get a vaginal tightening, go for a vaginal tightening procedure, because you just think it's okay to say what you say. But anyway, my point is stop talking about people's vaginas if you're not a professional. Secondly, stop beating your kids up for things that they don't know are wrong or right. And yeah, that's the truth. And that's that. I'm done.